Hello, and welcome to the Table and Well podcast. I'm Tennyson.
And I'm Janelle. Thank you for joining us as we discuss topics and give practical tools that help you live, grow, and be in healthy, joy-filled relationship with God, yourself, and others.
For more information and resources, or if you're looking for coaching, connection, and community, visit tableandwell.org. We hope you enjoy this podcast. So hello, and welcome to the Table and Well podcast. This is episode 2 in season 4, our second part 2 of our kind of introductory podcast into our new series called WITH-ness, the connected relationship that you've been longing for. Mm-hmm. No, the connected marriage that you've been longing for. We changed name a couple times. We're going to keep that in. So anyway, but yeah, so again, guys, we're really excited about where we're going with this. And we, just a quick recap, kind of, we talked a lot about just what marriage was designed for, what we look for. We actually go into a marriage relationship, what we're longing for. Mm-hmm. Is that connection, is to be known, loved, belonging. And then when we start to drift, it's not because it just happens overnight. It is these subtle fears that come in mm-hmm. that begin to change the way we relate to each other, mm-hmm. That ultimately result in us wanting to take control of the relationship so we don't lose the marriage, mm-hmm. so we don't lose the thing. Yeah.
Yep. Or have to live with our needs unmet.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. Mm-hmm. Like there is a protection of the marriage itself. And then mm-hmm. there's also the protection of ourselves of I had made an agreement in which I thought my needs would get met.
Yeah. Right.
And now my needs are not getting met. And so what do I need to do to have those needs met? And I'm talking about relational needs here.
Yep.
That when we have our parental relationships, which can create a lot of pain, and then we mm-hmm. go into a marriage relationship where we are now making a commitment, a covenant to do life together, to have relationship for forever. And our parents, we didn't choose. Now we've chosen someone and they've chosen us, and we've given our word.
Yes. Yep.
That we're going to make this work, mm-hmm. and that you're never going to be alone again.
Yeah.
And then we find ourselves somewhere down the road in our marriage alone.
Again.
Alone.
Yeah.
And we don't know what to say about it, and we don't know what to do about it, and we don't know how we got here often.
Yeah.
And so when we talked about in the first intro about this idea of WITH-ness and the over, under, from, and for, mm-hmm. let's expound on that a little bit to give some context to what does that look like inside of a marriage?
Yeah.
And how is that playing in?
Yeah, I think those are great. So we'll talk about the first one. So the first one is under. Mm-hmm. And so what this kind of looks like is all of these, there's an underlying fear of in each one of these that we'll mm-hmm. talk about. And then we'll talk a little bit about just the control strategy, mm-hmm. and then what is the kind of the stance that might look like. And so just a kind of quick overview on all of those. So the under was really, it looks like this: what do I need to do to feel safe mm-hmm. in this marriage? Mm-hmm. And what does it look like for me to feel safe? Mm-hmm. The overarching fear is I'm not going to be safe. And the control strategy in this one can look like pleasing. So it's this idea of you give up yourself mm-hmm. in such a way to your spouse that just you completely abdicate your own autonomy.
Mm-hmm. Good way to put it. Yeah.
And it is like, if I need to do this, so my spouse or my wife will be happy and they won't leave me. And then because this marriage keeps me safe.
Right. And part of that, this marriage keeps me safe, is that I'm afraid to lose this marriage, partially because this marriage, like being inside of a marriage, is what brings me safety. I can't imagine myself outside of a marriage mm-hmm. on my own, as my own person. Mm-hmm. This marriage gives me identity. It gives me value. It gives me worth. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people who find themselves in an under stance in a marriage are people who have maybe not resolved their own powerful person, that they are a person who can stand on their own mm-hmm. and can offer equality in a marriage.
Yeah.
This idea of mutually satisfying. Well, to be mutually satisfied, we don't want to be like barely scraping by
Right.
and unhealthy, and like we're mutually satisfied in our unhealth.
And our
Like,
unhealth.
yeah, that sounds fun. Let's do that every day.
Right.
There's reality that does exist and that
Mhm.
has to be grown through.
Right.
But often when you find this understanding, there is the person in a marriage who doesn't feel that they're somehow worthy,
Yes.
that they don't feel somehow
good.
equal, that
Yes.
they feel that person is over them, like their spouse is over them, and therefore they take an understance to keep inside of a marriage maybe they don't feel worthy of, or
Yeah.
with a person that they don't feel worthy of.
Yeah.
Because they don't know their own worth and identity and value of belonging.
Yeah. And I want to say this too, in marriage, like these different stances we talk about, I think most marriages have experienced 1, 2,
Mhm.
3, 4,
Mhm.
5, all of these.
There's only 4.
Well, with okay.
Oh, wait, 5. Because witness. Right.
Yes.
We're going
Right.
for something really positive.
Yes, right. But a lot too in this podcast. So like in every, I think most people have had one of those stances. And for me, honestly, the under is where I sat for a long time.
Mhm.
And so I'm not going to go into it now because that's for a later podcast, but understanding that like that it's a real thing. And
Mhm.
everything that you said about those feelings is absolutely true. And so you do the things that you think will please your spouse.
Mhm. Right.
Notice I said think.
Right.
We'll unpack
Or you
that.
think will save your marriage.
Save your marriage.
Mhm.
Right.
Or you think are making you safe.
Yes.
Mhm.
You're right.
Right.
And it's weird too, because like you said, well, how is that control? Where you're trying to control the narrative, you're trying to control the uh you're trying to protect the box of marriage.
Yeah.
And so you
And protecting yourself.
protect yourself.
From losing something
Yeah.
that really matters to you.
And again, that's it. In all of these, you're
Yeah.
you're protecting something that really matters to you.
Mhm.
But because of our own personal unhealth,
Mhm.
we come at it from different spaces. So that is under. So
We use the tools in our toolbox. A lot of this is the
That's
fact
so
you
good.
came into the marriage with that tool.
with that tool.
That
Mhm.
you used at some point in your life,
And it
often
worked.
through your whole childhood. Yeah, and it worked.
And so
And it worked to keep your relationship with your parents often is what's at
Mhm.
play here.
Yep.
So in talking about that, the
Mhm.
next stance is over.
Well, before we do that, quick
Oh,
recap
sorry.
on that. So under is basically, how do I remain safe? How do I keep safety in this? The overarching fear is I won't be safe. And then it's the strategy again is that performance or the pleasing
piece. Yeah.
aspect of that. So
Yeah.
now.
Okay. So then there's over. Stop pointing at me. If you're not watching the video, he's pointing and I don't appreciate it. Just kidding. So the over stance is I want to stay in control of this relationship so that nothing surprises me.
Yeah.
Because I can't trust anybody but myself and I have to figure this out. Basically, I can't trust the uncertainty of this relationship.
Yeah.
And so control strategy is certainty, creating certainty through control.
Yeah.
Like this is kind of a funny, like the control strategy is control. And it's a forward facing control whereas the under is a not forward facing.
Yeah.
But this very much can look like I believe I'm over you. And in thinking about that, I'm sure that there's marriages out there where women can think of men who are controlling and that they were in a subservient situation and relationship. And there's been lots of conversation in our culture about that idea and whether or not it's healthy or unhealthy. But honestly, I see this a lot on the flip side where women are controlling and the men are subservient. And we don't talk about that much.
No, we don't.
Because it comes subtly. I don't think it's as clear because it's maybe done in ways that create an appearance, but it definitely is in existence, and it's definitely where we lived a lot of our lives.
Those two stances.
Yep. I needed to know that there weren't going to be surprises. I needed to know that everything was going to be okay, and the way I did that was to make sure that I was in control, that I set the expectations and that I created correction. And I was scared.
Yeah.
I was just scared, living in fear of losing you, fear of losing our marriage, fear of losing our family.
Yep.
Fear of being in something for my life that wasn't fulfilling.
Yeah. And then, the I think this happens a lot on the woman's side, because correct me if I'm wrong on this, because I'm not a woman, but there's
Good. Appreciate that.
but there's a certain level of, and we've talked about this in our own relationship and marriage, of like safety and security that you are longing for. And when husbands and men aren't doing the things that provide that, to show that, yes, I'm going to protect you, I'm going to keep you safe, I'm going to provide, I'm going to do those things, then I think that is sometimes where you see the women start to become more controlling, because there needs to be, certainty. I need to make sure that we're taking care of this is taken care of, because no one is taking care of me yet, so I got to take care of myself. And so then that's where the control piece comes in. And then for men, for the husbands in that situation, one of two things happen. Either they eject themselves because they're like, well, you're a controlling woman and I don't want to be a part of that. Or I think two things happen. They fold, and they then put themselves under and stay under.
Or they already were
under, and they just go deeper into the under.
Right.
Or we both recognize it and you start to grow out of it.
Right. Back to secure attachment. This is definitely related to attachment styles too.
Yeah.
And alongside that, when you're talking about like men coming in, I think this also often happens for women when you have a man who's operating in an understance, and the woman is typically already operating in an overstance, and then it just becomes exaggerated and like a rut over time.
That's
Yep. And we've talked about this before on the podcast. It becomes a parent-child relationship in this situation when you have an over and an under, and like this can mix up. There's 5 different stances. They could be all mixed. This is the one we're really familiar with, so which is why we're like, we know how this goes. But regardless, where we spent most of our time. But regardless, it wasn't what either of us wanted.
No.
Right? Like, you didn't want someone over you, and I didn't want someone under me. That was not the goal.
Right.
But we were trying to figure out ways to make ourselves feel safe in a commitment that we had made.
Yes.
And that was the only way we knew how to make it work.
Yeah. And
we didn't know with-ness was an option.
No.
And we didn't have the skills to do it yet.
No. We did the best we knew to do with what we had and what we had been told and what we had seen modeled for us.
Right. Exactly.
So yeah. So again, just give a quick recap again of just those 3 things in that over. So
So over is I will stay in control of this relationship to make sure nothing surprises me. My overarching fear is that I can't trust uncertainty, and so my control strategy is to ensure certainty because I can't trust anyone else.
Those hit home, because again, those are the 2 that we spent the majority.
And so much of that just comes from childhood. I'm like, that was so ingrained in me long before. I mean, I was going to say long before we ever got married, even though I was 12 when we got married. No.
Hey, whoa.
I was 19.
Okay.
But, we were both very young, and all of that was still ingrained. Yeah. And that was what we knew.
Yeah. If you want to hear that story, we do have, you can go to the podcast. We do have a 6-part series on our story back in season 1.
We're going to have to record part 2 of the story.
We do need to.
Because the story is
it's not over
at all. Oh my gosh.
To hear that, you can go check that out.
Okay. So the next stance to talk about is from.
Yeah.
And basically in the stance, there's a feeling of I'm missing something and I have a need that's going unmet.
Yeah.
So I have to find, back to that, the overarching fear is that I'll never have enough. I'm always going to feel empty. I am not enough on my own.
Yeah.
And so I need something else to satisfy. And so my control strategy becomes consumption.
Yeah. I think one of the things here that the sentence that we wrote here, I think is a very interesting statement. I literally just noticed it right now, but it says, my spouse will finally give me everything that I've been missing.
Yeah. And I think we talked about this off podcast too, as I think a lot of us come into marriage with this mindset.
Yes.
Especially, we just told you we were young 14. When we got together. So we well, I was going to say, I don't think we came into this like
Did-
this, but I think we actually did.
I think we kind of did.
We came into marriage, and I think people who've been single even longer come into a marriage of like, I will be fulfilled. I will finally have what I need. I will be a whole person once I find my life partner, once I find the one for me. And then it's all going to be okay. All these areas where I don't feel enough, or where I feel like things are missing, or where I feel emptiness, my partner is going to fill up that part of me.
Yes, I'm smiling over here because that's so. When we were growing up, that was so much of the message that the church gave. It was like, God has the perfect person for you, and they will, fulfill these spaces. It's 50-50. And so
you will become
you will
one,
become
as
one,
in you are only half right
a
now.
person, right? All these different things that are ingrained in our brains, in our minds, when we, I'm got to find my spouse so I can be fully whole. And that's not it. And so what happens is I think most people, I could be totally wrong, I have no stats on this, but just, I can say in our generation anyway, it was this idea of, they came into the marriage actually with this from mentality of consumption, from in this mentality of, oh, I need you to fill me and support me so I can, yeah.
Being with you makes me an actual whole person.
Yes.
And so everything I do is from that stance of living from this marriage. And I begin to reframe everything from that space.
Yeah.
What I enjoy, how I spend my time, what I do. I would never do anything on my own. We've done some premarital counseling and debunking this idea that when you get married, you don't suddenly lose all your own interests, and you don't suddenly become half a person that can't make a decision without the other person.
You have to go everywhere together. Like, you can't do anything that the other person doesn't like. So you
have to enjoy everything that they enjoy and pretend like that's enjoyable. And so it becomes this unhealthy framework of almost codependence. I actually think this is part of where codependence comes from, is this idea that we have to live from one another to make the world turn.
Yeah.
And it's not healthy, because you are a whole person on your own. And the idea in my mind is that there's actually multiplication that should be occurring in a marriage.
Addition.
Yes, not addition.
Yeah.
And so when we're living from one another, we're in this cycle where we're desperately trying to keep each other alive.
Yeah. And we're
when you have two fromers.
Yeah. And you're eating each other.
You are eating each other.
Yeah. You're stealing, you're consuming each other. You're stealing from each other. You're stealing. It's just codependency. It is that. It's like, I need you in order for me to be okay.
And then you think about these other chances that we've already talked about, and you mix them up, and you're like, okay, you have somebody who's coming in codependently, and then you have someone who's over. It's another toxic. I mean, you could see the toxicity and how that's not going to work for either one.
Right.
Because that over person is going to likely be an avoidant attachment and not have any interest in that codependent.
Right. I don't need you.
Neediness. And then an under is going to feel like, I can't, how do you get under somebody who has a need to live from you and consume you? It doesn't work.
Oh my goodness.
And so, as you can see, but I would say, I think fromers can often, and I think like we said, we enter into marriage with this concept because we've been taught it in our culture. But I think it continues when you have people who have those codependent traits, and often for some reason they're attracted to each other.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. So again, this from space is my spouse will finally give me everything that I need, that I've been missing. The overarching fear is that I'll never have enough, or I'll never be enough. And then the control strategy is, I'm just going to consume you because I need you to feed me to be whole. It's actually pretty interesting too. Before we go into the last one, just kind of even thinking about all these are all, I say they're all, but again, these are unhealthy attachment spaces. that's one thing we haven't explored at all. Maybe we'll do that. We'll see how that works out. But how your attachment style.
Oh, we are going to do a whole nother series on that.
Oh, okay. So never mind.
That one's a deep one.
Yeah.
That's a
deep well.
Yep.
We'll see.
And well worth talking about.
It is for sure.
Because it certainly plays in here. We're just we're layering it because there are many layers to this onion of marriage.
Yeah, but these are all these three and the fourth one. These fears are all individual fears.
Mm.
Like, I won't be safe. I can't trust.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never have enough. Mm-hmm. And so you approach it, even though we go into marriage becoming one in a team.
Mm-hmm. And
together, these fears that you're trying to get met, these longings that you're trying to get met through the fear of not getting them, and the controlling piece is very individual, because mm-hmm. we're not a whole person yet. We don't have secure attachment with God, ourselves, or anybody.
Mm-hmm. But I think it also indicates that you are a person.
It also indicates you're a person.
You know, look, there it is. There it is, that it is two people trying to get their needs met, not one person
mm-hmm.
suddenly with no needs.
You're right. So the last of these stances, or these postures that we'll have in marriage, is 4. Mm-hmm. And it's the idea of, I'm going to stay in this marriage to accomplish whatever, mm-hmm. for the sake of team, for the sake of family, for the sake of appearance, whatever it might be. But mm-hmm. this idea, I'm in this marriage for whatever mm-hmm. it might be. It's like, in the overarching fear in this is, if I'm not in this marriage, then our lives won't be significant.
Right.
We have no significance.
And even my life
won't be. Where's my worth? Mm-hmm. Who am I? My identity? What does that look like? Mm-hmm. And then the control strategy is this idea of appearance and purpose. Mm-hmm. And so everything becomes about, how does it look? How do we do this? And what's our purpose? Do we have a purpose? And do people know what our purpose is? Because we need to have this appearance of everything is okay, that we're healthy, that we're in this, so we can be significant. So I can have it's really, how do I get my self-worth? Mm-hmm. Or how do we get self-worth in this?
Yeah. And I think this one is a little bit tricky because it's not about your marriage having purpose. Like, that's not a bad thing, that your marriage has purpose. Correct. Or that you do ministry together. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not that your marriage doesn't create opportunities and doors and fulfillment and multiplication. It creates a family. It is when things shift from your connected relationship being the most important thing to the appearance of having a connected marriage being the most important thing.
Right.
And that we end up in a situation where we're protecting the marriage itself over protecting one another, or caring for one another, or doing the work of actually being known, seen, heard, loved, valued, belonging.
Yeah.
It is where a lot of people find themselves later into marriage, and especially after the kids leave the house, where they've gone from this idea of doing things from a place of, I want fulfillment in my life.
Yep.
And I've made a commitment to you. And now we're in a space of, oh gosh, we're now teammates. Uh-huh. And we have this institution of marriage that everybody knows. It's how we made friends with people. Mm-hmm. It's who we're known to be at church.
Yes.
It's obviously, we're our kids' parents and they know us to be a unit.
Yep.
Maybe we own businesses together. Maybe we do ministry together. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's lots of things that this institution of marriage is now a foundational part of. But what's missing here is the actual connection within.
Right.
And so but out of fear of losing the appearance of the marriage that is actually affording us the friends and the business and the ministry.
Yeah.
We've lost each other, but we'll still use our energy to protect the appearance over letting it maybe get messy and fall apart. And we have walked through this. This is very real for us in the way that we definitely, once we fixed over under, the other piece that definitely lived was the 4.
It's the appearance of.
We have always been amazing teammates. Mm-hmm. we fostered all those kids together,
Mhm.
raising our own children, doing ministry together most of our lives.
Yeah. All of our lives. I mean, all of
All of it.
together.
Yeah,
lives.
that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And there were definitely points along our marriage where we knew that if people knew we were struggling in our marriage and that we didn't even want to be together and we didn't want to continue forward together because we had lost our connection,
Yep.
that it would cost us in so many other areas of life.
Mhm.
And we had to choose whether we kept the appearance going or whether we really let it get
Yeah.
messy.
Let it. Yeah. 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 It's so true. It is this. It's tricky.
Mm-hmm.
It really is tricky
Mm-hmm.
because we I can say, well, I don't think we ever got to this point, but it's the idea of the institution of marriage became more important than or becomes more important than the actual people we are within the marriage.
Mm-hmm.
It's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you bringing up, a secondary point here that is true, that some people feel like, well, God hates divorce. And so I have to I have to stay here,
Yep.
even though it is wildly unhealthy,
Mm-hmm.
because if I don't stay here, then I will be punished for it, or God won't love me anymore, or I will be living in shame.
Mm-hmm.
I will lose all my worth. I will lose,
Yeah.
for some people, it's like I'll lose my entire everything I've built to this point.
Yeah.
And that's a really real thing and a really, really real feelings. People who walk through divorce often lose their friendships, often lose anything that them and their partner built together.
Yeah.
And what we want to point out again is that we can subtly end up here.
Yep.
And not realize this is exactly what we're doing.
Yes.
And we realized this actually at one point in our marriage. This is a decade ago now. Where
Long time.
we were in an unhealthy ministry situation.
Yeah. Wow. Yep.
And noticed at one point, after way too long,
way too long,
that we were
protecting the ministry and this situation, this organization over each other.
And the idea of our marriage, like we were staying in the marriage so that we could protect the ministry when we had stopped actually caring for each other and really investing in each other. I'm stuttering through my words here,
but no,
we had lost our security.
Yeah. Bottom line is we were sacrificing each other for the appearance of each other.
I thought you were going to say sacrificing each other on the altar of ministry.
Well, there's that too.
And on the altar. And I think we sacrifice each other on the altar of marriage too. Marriage is hard and it's sacrificial. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here to sell that like it's always going to be wonderful and that we all always respond to each other perfectly every day. Sometimes we really miss it and we really create pain. And I don't know that ever ends.
No. Yeah.
And
yes,
that should not be where we live, is who gets to be on the altar today to keep this marriage alive.
Right. Yeah.
Or we can do better. And it's meant to be different.
It is. It absolutely is meant to be different. It's meant to
be what we were told it was supposed to be.
Right. However, that only happens with connection, secure attachment. And so these 4 different stances, these 4 different postures, they show up when fear comes in that we're going to lose something that we truly love. And the attempt to keep it and to protect it, I think is not wrong. It's not.
Because it matters to us.
Because it matters to us. The problem is that we're doing it from, again, like I said in the last podcast, are we doing it from our motivation fear of not losing, or is our motivation love of connecting? And that's when these postures start to show up, is when that fear comes in and kind of takes over, takes control. The problem isn't the longing for, the problem isn't the desire for safety. The problem isn't the desire for connection. The problem isn't the desire for having a good marriage and protecting that and all of
doing
those
things
and
together,
doing things
building
together.
ministry together, or doing having purpose.
Yeah. The problem is the strategy, which is directly connected to fear.
Mm-hmm. And reframing too that the goal of a marriage isn't about staying married for the sake of staying married,
Right.
or raising children and
Mhm.
making sure that they're successful. It's also not about building a ministry. Like, that is not
Yeah.
the ultimate goal.
Mhm.
And neither is avoiding divorce. I think some
Yeah.
people end up in situations where our goal right now is just to avoid divorce. And
Right.
no one wants, life is so short.
Yeah.
And it's too short to live in that space. So the alternative, and what we're all really wanting, is to live life with, and
Yeah.
to live life fulfilled, and to live life connected inside of our marriages. It's why we said yes. It's
Yeah.
why we did this in the first place.
Yeah.
We didn't say, I want to marry you just so I don't get a divorce.
Right. Yeah.
That's not it. But we're missing the skills to do the withness well.
We are.
And that's what we want to help build.
Yeah. And I'll say those skills can start. Our labs are starting in September.
Mhm.
Registration is open, so you can go in, get in there and sign up and learn these skills that will help us and help you live in withness, live with yourself, with God, with others in a healthy, connected, incredible way. I was
Mhm.
going to say another word, but that's what I'm looking for.
You don't have enough adjectives.
I don't have enough adjectives today now.
Mhm.
So,
yeah. And so much of
Yeah.
this concept isn't, again, coming from idealism.
Yeah.
It's a journey we've walked.
hmm
And we can tell you it isn't something that changes overnight, just like your disconnection didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
It is something that is built over time. But it's well worth it. It is what you wanted in the first place, and what we wanted in the first place, and to have that back.
Yeah.
And to recognize when it's at threat again. There's definitely points along the way where we have realized,
Oh, wait a minute.
oh wait, we've lost our witness, we've lost our connection.
Yeah.
But thankfully we have the tools close at hand to get it back.
Yeah.
And our old coping strategies don't exist. They're not that they don't exist. That's probably an unfair statement, but they are not. They're not the first tool we grab.
They're not the.
They are now buried at the bottom of the toolbox.
Yeah.
And we notice for each other when they're coming out too, and we get to talk about that, and we get to name it when it's in existence. Of wow, and what are you afraid of here?
Yeah.
And how can I help?
Yeah, and that's the beauty of being on the journey together, is because we do notice, because we do care, because we don't want to go back to those spaces.
Right.
We do want to live with each other, with ourselves, in a connected space with God. And so being able to name it and call it out and not be offended when it's said is a huge blessing, because we are like, oh wait, no, she has my best interest in heart. He has my best interest at heart. So this isn't a slam. This isn't a, this is a, hey, I'm noticing. You're okay. What's going on? Do you need to take some time?
And how can I help?
And how can I help you do that?
One thing I want to point out that is coming to mind for me right now is that we've talked about these stances, and we've talked about how they can be unhealthy. As far as this idea of from why I can't.
Regularly work.
Yeah.
Got it.
The under, over, from, and for.
Yeah.
And how they largely can be unhealthy if they are the only tool you're using.
Yes. Yeah. No.
To relate.
Yes.
But and I think you kind of said this before, but
This is good.
But it's not wrong in a relationship to operate in all of these spaces. We just don't want. It's just not healthy to do it as the only way.
Yes.
So it is totally appropriate at times in your marriage to be the one who is leading.
Yes.
And somebody else is following. And whether that's the woman leading for this one and the man leading for that one,
right?
You guys work that out. But that's not a wrong thing,
right?
To have a leader and have a follower. That over under concept.
Yep. Yeah.
It's not wrong to do something from, like, hey, I really need something from you right now, and I'm going to take more in this season than I'm giving, because that's what the need is in our relationship, or for my need.
Yeah. it's that mutually satisfying relationship that we talk about when you get into adulthood in the relational maturity space.
Right.
It is like there are times where you're going to draw more on me than I'm going to draw on you, and vice versa.
Right.
And it's understanding that. It's that give and take, giving sacrificially and learning how to navigate that. And so you're right. It's not wrong.
And even the for space, like maybe we didn't really talk about this as in the for stance, but there are times where I'm going to do something for you and it's only for you.
Yeah.
That it's only for your best. Maybe it isn't actually doing anything for me right now.
Right.
But you're worth that. And I'm going to invest into you in the same kind of way. And so I want to be clear that what we're not saying is don't ever.
Correct.
What we're saying is if you notice that you're living only from one of these stances, there is an imbalance that is occurring.
Yeah. And I would say this too, easy way or a way to know if this is unbalanced is my primary stance living with you, being connected to you in a healthy way, creating joy, doing those things together. If that is the primary stance, then all these other things naturally will happen, and they don't. And it, not that it won't pull from you, because it will, because it does, but it doesn't become this toxic space.
And the major difference is that these things are being done from love.
Yes, that's
not from fear. And that is the litmus test is if I'm leading something and I'm doing that out of love and not fear, that's a completely different game in our
202 belt.
Yeah, not a game. I don't know.
It is a different game.
Yeah, but it's a completely different approach.
Yes.
Than if I'm doing it from a space of fear. And if I'm following you and you're leading out and I'm doing that out of fear and not love, it's a different thing.
Yes.
But if I'm doing it out of love, then that is a healthy thing to do. And that is really the piece that can measure where this stands. If I'm doing something for you and I'm doing it out of fear because I'm afraid I'm going to lose you,
right?
Or I'm afraid I'm going to lose this marriage or the appearance of the things that we have, not good. But if I'm doing it for, like, out of love for, then that is a different thing. And if I'm doing things from where I'm pulling from you because there is love between us and not because I'm afraid of the lack and I'm feeling scarcity, it's a very different thing.
Very different thing. Yeah. I love that. This is just really good. I'm really excited about where this podcast is going. I'm really excited about where Table and Well is going in this space over this next season. And when we were putting these notes together, with-ness is kind of like one of these words that's, what does it mean? It means connection. It means a lot of things, but I want to read this definition of with-ness that we're going for in this. And so we came up with this, and it means the experience of being deeply connected with God and others through joy, presence, mutual delight, trust, safety, and a shared life. And I love this part. It is the relational environment where people become more fully alive because they are deeply known, genuinely loved, and continually invited to grow.
So good.
That when we talk about with-ness, that's what we're going for.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
So as we're closing this podcast today, we really want to leave you with some conversation points to have with your spouse. 2 questions for you to share. Where have we slowly replaced connection with control? And what are we trying to protect? See where that conversation goes and see where that leads you. We really hope that this begins to bring life back to your marriage and bring connection back.
You've been listening to the Table and Well podcast. New episodes stream every Tuesday. If you have enjoyed this podcast, please leave us a review to let us know. Also, subscribe on your favorite listening platform to stay up to date on all things Table and Well. To learn more, start your journey, or get information on how Table and Well can help develop your community, family, or teams to be relationally healthy and authentically connected, please go to tableandwell.org/collab to schedule an interest call, or you can email us directly at known@tableandwell.org.